We start today chapter 16, which is probability. Well, a very good question to start with is, what is probability? When we talk about the probability of a certain event is equal to that number, what does it mean? Well, probability is the likelihood of the happening of that event, or the chance that that event will happen in the future, right? So we are associating a number to the likelihood of that event happening or the outcome happening. Okay, so and to do that we have what we call the probability scale. Okay, so if an event is I'm sure that that event will happen in the future, so I say that the probability of that event happening in the future is equal to 1. So I'm certain about that. This is what we call the certain event. For example, I know for sure that one day the sun will rise. Yeah, this is a very certain event. I know one day that the sun will set. So this is a certain event. When we talk about impossible event, right? And that event will be, it's no way that that event will happen one day. Okay, so we say that the probability of that event is equal to 0. We say that the probability of a certain outcome is equal to 0. For example, if I will say that the probability that a snail will be faster than, I don't know, a lion is 0. Okay, because we know that each animal is, we know the speed of each animal, right? So this is just to give you an idea about what does these numbers represent. And you need to be aware that the probability or whatever probability of whatever event, it should be between 0 and 1. If you found a probability that is more than 1, you are wrong. Okay, so be careful about that. All right, let's take an example to learn more about probability vocabulary. Okay, so when a football team play a match, they can win, draw, or lose. Those are the 3 possible events. So these are the possible outcomes, right? And we call these outcomes mutually exclusive, because they can't happen at the same time. Okay, if the team wins, I can't say that the team won and the team lost at the same time. Okay, either they won or they lost, right? So this is why we call them mutually exclusive outcomes or events. They cannot happen at the same time. You need to remember this. Right, so the probability of all mutually exclusive outcomes add up to 1. So if I know the probability of winning, the probability of drawing, the probability of losing, when I add these 3 probabilities, I need to find 1. And this is a good way to check your answers in the future. If they ask you to get probabilities and you know that the outcomes are mutually exclusive, just add the probabilities and check they add up to 1. Well, let's take an example to understand this better. So the probability that Liverpool will win the next football match is 0.6. So this is the probability of winning. The probability that Liverpool will draw is 0.1. So they ask you as a first question to work out the probability that Liverpool will not win. Be careful, be very careful. The team will not win is not equal the team is losing, okay? Because we have 3 outcomes: winning, losing, and drawing. So the probability that this happen, or the probability that an event won't happen or an outcome won't happen, is equal to 1 minus the probability that that event will happen in the future. Okay, since we know that the probability that the team will win is equal to 0.6, then the probability that the team won't win in the future is equal to 1 minus the probability that a team is winning in the future. So it's equal to 1 minus 0.6, because this is the probability of the team winning. Now, just doing this calculus, you will find out that this is equal to 0.4. So the probability that the team is not winning in the future is equal to 0.4. Well, not winning means losing or drawing, okay? So this is how you need to see it. Let's take another example. Right, so work out the probability, we are in the same example, work out the probability that Liverpool will win or draw. Right, a very good rule that you need to remember is that if you have two outcomes and you know the probability of those, and they are mutually exclusive events, they can't happen at the same time. So the probability that the first outcome or the second outcome happening is exactly the sum of the two probabilities, okay? So I just need to add the probability of the first outcome to the probability of the second outcome. So the probability that Liverpool will win or draw is equal to the probability of the team winning, which is 0.6, plus the probability of the team drawing, which is 0.1, and that will give you 0.7. So this is a very important rule that you need to remember. Two outcomes that are mutually exclusive, the probability of that one of them will happen is equal to the sum of the two probabilities. So you need to remember it like that. Right, and the third question is, I need to work out the probability that Liverpool will lose. Right, so I have the probability that the team is winning, I have the probability of drawing, and they ask you to get the probability of losing. And since we know that the probability of mutually exclusive events will add up to 1, and we know that the three events here are mutually exclusive, so I know that the probability of winning plus the probability of losing plus the probability of drawing is equal to 1, right? So I can write it like that as an equation: probability of winning plus probability of losing plus probability of drawing is equal to 1. Now I know the probability of winning, I know the probability of drawing, and I'm looking for this one, so I just need to minus the probability of drawing and winning from 1 to get the probability of losing, and this is exactly what I will do. So the probability of losing is equal to 1 minus the sum of the two probabilities. Just substituting with the values here, 1 minus 0.6 plus 0.1, which is equal to 0.3, since this one is 0.7. So this is exactly what you need to know. So please remember the formulae of the probability of an event not happening, the probability of mutually exclusive events add up to 1, and the probability of two events, one of the two events happening is equal to the sum of the two probabilities if the two events are mutually exclusive. So please remember those, and normally you are ready to work on exercises. Thanks for watching, and see you next time or during the Zoom session. Let me know if you need more explanation about this. Thank you. Bye-bye.